Hello, my friends, and welcome back to Speak Up Learning English podcasts. I'm David. Today, I want to tell you a story about the most important English lesson I never received in a classroom. It's a story about a brilliant man, a terrible mistake, and the profound wisdom of knowing when to let someone else's light shine brighter than your own. When I was a young, eager university student, I was invited to a prestigious dinner. The guest of honor was a retired professor, a true legend in the world of literature, a man named Mr. Abernathy. He was in his 80s, his voice was soft, but when he spoke about Shakespeare or Dickens, it was like listening to a forgotten symphony. I was seated right next to him, and I was determined to impress him. I had spent the whole week preparing. I rehearsed complex sentences. I memorized obscure vocabulary. I was ready to showcase my intelligence, to prove that I, too, belonged in the world of great ideas. The dinner began. Someone mentioned a novel, and I saw my chance. I launched into a detailed analysis. I used words like dichotomy and postmodern deconstruction. I quoted critics. I was holding court, and for a moment, I felt brilliant. I glanced at Mr. Abernathy, expecting a nod of approval. But his eyes, they weren't engaged. They were distant, almost sad. He simply listened, said nothing, and took a slow sip of his water. The conversation moved on. A few minutes later, a young woman across the table, with a much simpler level of English than mine, turned to Mr. Abernathy and said, "Professor, that story, it reminded me of my grandfather. He was a simple farmer, but he had the same kind of quiet courage. Why do you think that kind of character touches our hearts so deeply?" Mr. Abernathy's whole face changed. The light returned to his eyes. He leaned forward, and for the next 10 minutes, he wove a tapestry of words so beautiful, so clear, and so profound that the entire table fell into a rapt silence. He wasn't showing off. He was sharing a piece of his soul. And he was doing it because she had asked a question that came from her heart, not from a desire to showcase her own mind. She had handed him the conductor's baton, and he began to conduct his silent symphony. In that moment, I understood my terrible error. I had broken an unspoken law. I had tried to outshine the master. In my desire to display my talents, I had only inspired insecurity and distance. I had made the conversation about me, but she, with her simple, heartfelt question, had made it about him. She had made him feel comfortable, superior, and valued. She had given him the stage, and in return, he gave us all a gift we would never forget. This, my friends, is not about being weak. It is about a different kind of strength, the strength of listening, the power of humility. In any language, the person who makes others feel brilliant is far more powerful than the person who tries to be brilliant all the time. Let's give words to this wisdom. The first phrase is to hold court. This means to be the center of attention in a social gathering, often by talking in an entertaining way. I was trying to hold court at that dinner, and I failed miserably. The young woman demonstrated humility. Humility is the quality of being modest, of not being proud or arrogant. It is not thinking less of yourself. It is thinking of yourself less.
And finally, she knew the power of a heartfelt question, a question that is sincere and comes from a genuine desire to understand, not to impress, So I want to ask you 2 questions today, and I want you to be honest with yourself. First, have you ever been like the young me? Have you ever been in a conversation, maybe with a teacher or a fluent friend, where you were so focused on proving your English was good that you forgot to actually connect? You were speaking, but were you truly communicating? And second, what is one heartfelt question you could ask someone today? A question that hands them the conductor's baton and lets them play their symphony for you. This is your challenge. This is where real, deep language learning happens. It happens in the space between words, in the respect we show others. In the comments below, I want you to write your heartfelt question. It doesn't have to be in perfect English. It just has to be real. For example, what is a memory that always makes you smile? What was the bravest thing you ever did? What does your name mean, and why did your parents choose it? By asking these questions, you are not being passive. You are being a master communicator. You are creating a space where beautiful, authentic English can flourish. You are learning not just to speak, but to connect. Remember the lesson of Mr. Abernathy. The brightest stars do not compete with the sun. They let it shine, and in its light, they find their own place to twinkle in the vast, beautiful sky of human connection. Your voice is important, but sometimes the most powerful thing your voice can do is to invite someone else's story into the world. If this story resonated with you, subscribe to the channel for more lessons that go beyond grammar and into the heart of communication. Keep learning, keep listening, keep connecting. I believe in you. I'll see you in the next lesson.